Hello everyone, myself Shrutikean, working as Assistant Professor in Government Engineering College. I welcome you all to the lecture series on the subject Technical Innovation Management and Entrepreneurship for 5th semester. This video is a part of Learning Management System under the Department of Collegiate and Technical Education. In this session, I'll be discussing about the last part of the first module, that is decision making. Let me take a real life scenario as an example to give an introduction to decision making. After the completion of your graduation, all of you have the options such as going for higher studies, setting up your own venture, or joining as an employee to an organization. Now, you have to make proper decision on selecting among the alternatives in front of you. Each of your goal may be different. Some of you may need to join an organization to fulfill the need for money. Some of you may be interested in further studies, and some of you may dare to and may be crazy about starting a new company of your own. The decision is based on your goals, needs, dreams, the options you have in front of you to choose, your ability to confront the challenges, so on. The decision you make creates your bright future. So, it is very important process in all the stages of your life. A right decision may make your life successful, and on the other hand, a wrong decision may ruin your life too. Hence, a decision making is a very important aspect in everyone's life. We will see different types of decision making and then the steps in decision making in this session. So in this session, I'll give introduction to decision making, then I'll discuss the types of decision making, and then the steps in decision making, and at last I'll cover few multiple choice questions on the topics I've discussed in this session. You all know that the essential and well accepted functions of management are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Among all of them, planning is most basic function of management. Planning is an intellectual process which requires a manager to think before acting. Through planning, managers of any organization decide what to do, when to do, how to do, and who has to do that. Hence, decision making is an integral part of planning and is defined as the process of choosing among alternatives. Decision making occurs at many stages of planning process. Decision making and choosing the best alternative is probably the most important activity of planning process. It is a part of all the functions of management. In planning, through decision making, manager decides what to produce, where and when, etc. In organizing, the managers decide upon the division of work, that is work allocation, delegation of authority and responsibility, etc. In directing, managers decide the course of action, the instruction to be given, providing directions, etc. In controlling, the managers decide on fixing the standards, what to control, how to control, etc. While making a decision, some of the factors needs to be taken care of are choosing the most desirable alternative. Next, decision maker needs to have freedom to choose an alternative of his liking. And the last point is that the decision should be goal oriented. That is, decision maker should attempt to achieve some result. Decision making is important for achieving the objectives, for making optimum use of available resources, increasing the efficiency. It also helps in innovation and motivation. It eases growth and expansion of the organization. It supports us to face new challenges and encourages us to take initiatives and so on. Now, let us see how decisions can be classified in a number of ways. The first type of classification is programmed and non programmed decisions. Programmed decisions are those that are made in accordance to policies, procedures, and rules. The decisions are routine. The decisions which are routine and repetitive and programmed. The programmed decisions are routine and repetitive in nature and are relatively easy to make. For example, determining salary payment to the workers who have been ill, offering discounts to regular customers, etc., are programmed decisions. Non programmed decisions are novel and non repetitive. If a problem has not arisen before, or if there is no clear cut method for handling it, it must be handled by non programmed decision. For example, what to do about a failing product line is a non programmed decision because no definite procedure exists for it. For programmed decision, clear cut rules exist, and hence it is not possible for two persons to reach different solutions for the same problem. In case of non programmed decisions, there is no clear cut rules for handling the problem. Each manager may bring his own personal beliefs or attitudes and judgments to bear the decision. It is possible for two managers to arrive at distinctly different solutions to the same problem. For managers at higher level, this ability to make non-programmed decision becomes very important. The next type of classification is major and minor decisions. The decisions which have their impact for a long period or which have impact on other departments are known as major decisions. On the other hand, decisions which do not have long-term impact, or decisions which affect only one department are known as minor decisions. Diversification of existing product lines, adapting new technologies are major decisions. The decisions to procure raw material is a minor decision. Major decisions are made at higher level and minor decisions are taken at lower level in the organizational hierarchy. The next classification is routine and strategic decisions. Strategic decision is a major choice of action concerning allocation of resources and contribution to the achievement of organizational objectives. Strategic decisions are major and non-programmed decisions having long-term impact. For example, lowering the price of a product. Strategic decisions are made by higher level managers. Routine decision is derived out of strategic decision. It relates to day-to-day working of the organization and is made in the context of well set policies and procedures. Decisions such as deputing the employees to conferences uh, and decisions relating to the provision of air conditioning, parking facilities are operational decisions. These decisions are made at lower level of organization. Next, we have individual and group decisions. Decisions may be taken either by an individual or a group. Decisions which are routine in nature, such as granting a casual leave to an employee with few variables and definite procedures, exist to deal with them are taken by individuals. On the other hand, decisions such as to depute a staff which have their impact on other departments, which may result into changes in the organization, are generally taken by groups. A decision is rational if appropriate means are chosen to reach the desired goal. The steps involved in the process of decision making are recognizing the problem, deciding priorities among the problems, diagnosing the problem, developing alternative solutions, then evaluating alternatives, converting the decision into effective action, and the last step is follow up of action. This picture depicts the steps in rational decision making. Coming to the first step, that is recognizing the problem, when a manager makes a decision, it is in effect the organization's response to the problem. Hence, it is necessary to search the environment for the existence of the problem. A problem is said to exist when there is a deviation from past experience. For example, the present sales are lower than previous year. The expenses are more than previous year's expense, etc. When there is a deviation from a plan, for example, sales are lower than anticipated and expenses are more than expected, etc. Or the problem is said to exist when the competitors outperform. That is, for example, other companies manufacture goods of same quality at lower cost. Or the problem may also exist when people bring problems to the managers. For example, workers complain about poor ventilation. The second step is deciding priorities among problems. A manager might have identified a number of problems. All these problems vary in their importance. He may find that some of the problems are such that they can be solved by the subordinates because they are close to them. All such problems should be passed on to them. Some problems may need information available only at higher level or may affect different other departments too. Such problems are referred to the high level managers, and those problems which can be best solved by him are to be focused. The third step is diagnosing the problems. Symptoms of the problem that are observed by the manager may sometimes mislead him. The symptom may lead the manager to suspect one part when the defect may lie hidden in another part. For example, if there is a decline in sales, the management may think that the problem is one of the poor selling procedure or the saturation of old market. But the real problem may be the inability to move quickly to meet the challenges, sorry, to meet the changes needed by the customers. For diagnosing the problem, a manager should follow the systems approach. That is, he should study all the subparts of his organization which are connected with the subpart in which the problem seems to be located. The fourth step in developing alternative, in developing a, like sorry, the fourth step is developing alternative solutions. A problem can be solved in several ways, however, all ways cannot be equally satisfying. If there is only one way of solving this problem, then no question of decision arises. Therefore, decision maker must identify various alternatives available in order to get most satisfactory result of a decision. It should also be kept in mind that it is not possible to consider all alternatives because information about all alternatives may not be available, or some of the alternatives cannot be considered because of limitations. Hence, while developing alternatives, the concept of limiting factor should be applied. Limiting factor is one which stands in the way of accomplishing a desired objective. For example, if an organization has limitation in raising adequate finance, it cannot consider projects involving high investments. A decision maker can identify alternatives using his own experiences or the practices followed by others or by using creative techniques. A decision maker may, when using past experience, takes into account the action taken by the decision maker in the past with the difference between former challenges and the present one. The successful action of the past become an alternative for the future. The limitation of this is when what was successful in past may not be so in the present context because of change in context under which decision was made. Copying from others is another way of generating alternatives. Alternatives used by successful decision makers can be thought of as alternatives of decision making. The third method of generating alternatives is through creative process where various exercises are taken to generate entirely new ideas. Creative ideas of individuals or groups help in developing alternatives. One popular group technique is brainstorming. The brainstorming group consists of 5 to 10 people. The best idea behind brainstorming is to think of as many alternatives as possible without pausing to evaluate them. The fifth step is studying and comparing consequences of alternative solutions. Once various alternatives are developed, the next step is to measure and compare the consequences of alternatives using quality and acceptability. The quality of a decision must be determined considering both tangible and intangible consequences. Tangible consequences are those which are quantitatively measured and mathematically demonstrated. For example, one can calculate the installing and running costs of two types of air conditioners. Intangible consequences cannot be measured quantitatively. For example, the effect of good labor relationship in one location cannot be compared with local taxes in another location. Acceptability of a solution is also important. A decision, though good in quality, may be poor in acceptability, or a decision, though acceptable, may not be good in quality. In such cases, managers must find the relative importance of these two. In product, finance, purchase, etc., the solution's quality is important than acceptability. Whereas in all human matters such as lighting condition, layout of office, etc., acceptability is more important. If sufficient information about quality and acceptability of a solution is not available, it is suggested to experiment it on small scale known as pilot testing. For example, a company may test a new product in a certain market before expanding its sale nationwide. The sixth step in decision making is converting the decision into effective action. This step involves communication of decisions to employees. Decision must be communicated in clear and unambiguous terms. All necessary efforts should be made to secure employees' participation in some stages of decision making. Association of employees in decision making not only enhances the acceptability but also improves the quality of decision. Sometimes, due to non-availability of data, a manager may not take correct decision. As a safeguard against incorrect decision, the manager, while converting a decision into correct effective action, should institute a system of follow-up so that he can modify or alter his decision at the earliest possible. And the last step in decision making is follow up of action. That is, after having implementing the decision, the manager has to carry out the follow up action. If the result is not satisfactory, the manager has to take necessary corrective action or modify his decision. During this process of decision making, the manager faces many difficulties. Some of them are incomplete information, opposition by subordinates, improper communication, wrong timing, government policies, external influence, and lack of support. The manager has to take care of all these things while making a decision. So, in this lecture series, I have in this session, I have answered the questions such as what is decision making, how are decisions classified, and then I have explained the steps involved in decision making. Now, let me discuss a few multiple choice questions on the topics I have covered till now in this session. And the first question is, decision making includes option A, what is to be done, option B, who is to do it, option C, when and where to do it, option D, all of the above. So, as you know, decision making includes all of these things which are listed in different options. So, the correct answer is all of the above. Second question is, decision making implies the options are choosing the most desirable alternative, option B, attempting to achieve some results, option C, freedom to choose an alternative, and option D is all of the above. So, decision making implies all the mentioned options. So, the correct answer is option D. The characteristic of a non-programmed decision is option A, repetitive, option B, has no clear cut rules for handling the problem, option C, relatively easy to make the decision, option D, all of them. And the correct answer is that the non-programmed decision has no clear-cut rules for handling the problem. So the correct answer is option B. And the next question is, what are the characteristics of a programmed decision? Option A, complex and risky. Option B, uncertain and non-routine. Option C, routine and non-complex. Option D, low risk and certain. So the actual characteristic of a programmed decision is routine and non-complex. So the correct answer is option C, routine and non-complex. Next, major decisions have impact for option A, impact for long period, option B, impact on other department, option C, rare decisions with no rules, and option D is all of the above. And the correct answer is option D, that is all of the above. Major decisions will have impact for long period and also they will impact other departments. And these are the rare decisions with no rules. Next is strategic decisions are major decisions. Option A, major decisions. Option B, all of the listed options. Option C, long term impact. Option D, non programmed. So the correct answer is option B, all. All of the characteristics which are listed belongs to strategic decisions. Next question. Which of the following is not a problem faced during decision making? Answer option A, incomplete information. Option B, brainstorming. Option C, opposing by subordinates, opposition by subordinates. And option D, lack of support. And the correct answer is option B, brainstorming. It is not a problem while decision making. Actually, it is a um, solution for choosing alternatives. A problem is said to exist when option A, there is a deviation from past experience. Option B, when competitors outperform. Option C, people bring problems to the managers. Option D, any of the above. So the correct answer is option D, any of the above, because problem exists if any of the conditions listed exist. Next question, when selecting among alternatives, which of the following option is not suggested to be used by the managers? Mere guess, option A, option B, experiment, option C, research and analysis, and option D is past experience. So the answer is option A, mere guess. Manager should not take a decision or select among the alternatives by mere guess. Next question. Which of the following statement is true with respect to diagnosing the problem? Option A. Symptoms of the problem that are observed by the manager may sometimes mislead him. Option B. Symptoms may lead manager to suspect one part and the defect may lie hidden in another part. Option C. Manager should study all the other connected subparts of his organization. Option D. All of the above. And the correct answer is option D. All of the above. So the manager has to take care of all of these statements listed. Next, to measure and compare the consequences of alternatives, the following criteria needs to be considered. Option A, its quality. Option B, its acceptability. Option C, option A and B. And option D is none of the above. So the correct answer is option C, that is both its quality and acceptability needs to be measured and compared. And that's the end. Thank you.